Joining us now over Zoom is the newest signee for BYU basketball. He's an absolute star at the prep level. His name is Braeden Moore, 6'8".
Yeah.
He can shoot it. He can defend. Braeden, welcome to BYU Sports Nation and BYU basketball.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, I think everybody wants to know, how did you hear about BYU from over in Tennessee, and why did you pick Mark Pope and the Cougars for your collegiate basketball career?
Yeah, I just think it's the best fit for me and my family. I think the values of, the program and the school is what's very attractive to me. And I think, I fit the style of play. Coach Pope is amazing. I couldn't imagine a different coach I could play for. I think he, out of all the coaching staffs I was recruited by, they're one of the best, if not the best. It's just been phenomenal, everything, the fans. I mean, I could go on and on, location, so.
Walk us through when BYU first reached out and when you realized that BYU was the school for you.
Yeah, so I was reached out by the old assistant, Coach Burgess, who has now moved on, but at the beginning of my recruitment about 2 years ago. So I had learned a lot. My dad had a bunch of buddies go to BYU, so I've known a lot about BYU for a minute. And just, once my season ended at Donda, we started talking and more and more with the new assistant, and just, from then on, it just, took off. So
Braeden Moore is with us on BYU Sports Nation. What do you expect to do for BYU basketball in year one? Because as we have talked about ad nauseum on this show, there's some room for guys to come in and play right away. So what do you expect to do in year number one?
I think coming in with, goals rather than expectations is a big thing for me. I think, I'm not expecting to start. I'm not expecting to play. I'm not expecting all these sort of things. I'm expecting just to be me and do everything I can to win. Have a winner's mindset and work as hard as I can. Like, that's literally my goal. And just, and see where the rest falls. I'm excited to work. I'm a elite shooter. I think that can work at any level, especially these days, just the way people play. And so, I'm just, really excited to work. I keep saying it, but that's just my personality. So,
How would you qualify your position? Are you a stretch four? Are you more of a three? What do you prefer to play?
3-4. I mean, it's so hard because, positionless basketball is like a new thing these days. I think Coach Pope kind of wants me to be more in the 4 position. I think I could develop into a 3 in the future, but I think being able to get down low, take advantage of mismatches is a big thing, but also being able to draw defenders out and, have to, make them guard me on the perimeter, and just being able to shoot over, defenders is a thing I'm really good at. So I would say more of like it's like a shooting forward, I guess, is kind of what I call myself. So
I like it. Let's use it. Shooting forward Braeden Moore is on BYU Sports Nation. So you moved to Nashville about, 7 years ago? I think you posted on social media. So from Southern California, and you mentioned your dad had friends go to BYU, so maybe members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so somewhat familiar with sort of what BYU is about?
Correct. Yeah. I'm an evangelical Christian, so I grew up. That's just the way I grew up. I'm in the Bible Belt, so that's just kind of how it is. But or as they call it, I guess. But my dad, my mom, even they're from Southern California, so growing up, they had a lot of LDS friends. Like, some of their best friends are LDS, actually. So I'm very, very familiar. Before I committed, we talked to a bunch of people, and just, so, I mean, it was amazing. Support. I mean, my Twitter was crazy, and Instagram. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome though. So
that's fantastic, man. That's great. And with those SoCal roots, we read that your mom swam at Pepperdine and your dad played basketball at Point Loma. So some natural athleticism in the family there.
Yeah, they argue who's the better athlete all the time. So
and who is it?
I don't want to start a feud here, but
gotta go with mom, bro.
I don't know. I mean, swimmers are some of the hardest workers I've ever
Seriously.
met. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one, but yeah.
That's a good political answer.
Dad's
by
like
Braeden
within
Moore.
earshot right now. Yeah.
They're both standing there just glaring at you. All right, Braeden, you end up in Nashville at Donda Academy and playing for Kanye West's team. Walk us through how that all came to fruition.
Yeah, that was literally the craziest thing ever. So I decommitted and announced I was going to Donda at the same time from my prior school. So yeah, I think just it was literally a God thing. Like I was, I had a fantastic season my junior year, and we went to state and everything. And I just was like, I think I needed a change of scenery. I knew I needed something more to really push me and get out of my comfort zone. And to break down a little bit of Donda is like, it was like two separate things. Like there's a basketball aspect and there's being around, the whole Kanye experience. Now the whole Kanye experience was kind of like pushed aside a little bit to an extent, because I was so focused on, just, working hard in the gym. I mean, we barely had any breaks. We were working hard. So, just getting after it, doing online school. So, NBA trainers, the whole nine. So yeah, I mean, that transition was kind of nuts. It kind of happened out of nowhere, but I'm glad it happened, and, I would do it 10 times over. So.
Is it crazy to be on the cover of Slam magazine with Kanye West?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I got to frame it and I got to save it just so I can show my kids so they'll believe me. So
that won't be the peak. You'll have another thing, right, that you can show them as well, which is awesome. Like,
oh, of course, yeah.
What's Kanye like? Because there's so many stories about him, but we have a picture of you two interacting here. It looks like he forgot that he was indoors here, maybe.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, his fits are phenomenal. Yeah, they're out of this world. But no, he's a very genuine guy. That photo is actually on Yahoo. I found it on yahoo.com. So that was like the craziest thing. So anyway, but just, he's a great guy. He's just very genuine. I mean, it's like, he's so in the public, he's such a celebrity in a way. So, but people don't realize he's also like a billionaire. So he's a great businessman. So, I have a lot of respect for him. I actually didn't know a lot going in about him to Donda. Like, I wasn't a big fan, to be completely honest. But so I learned a ton, and now I'm a Kanye fan because just of the person he is. So
fantastic stuff. Braeden Moore is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, you play at Donda Academy, and we saw a quote on Twitter the other day that said, you think Kanye might show up at a game at BYU. Do you really believe that he's going to come to the Marriott Center?
Let's get him here.
Is he ready for the Marriott Center?
I don't know if he's ready for it, but I've been told by people around him that, they always say like, oh, we'll come out and come see you. So we'll see. But I think I'll send them, a game or something, and they'll see the fans and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is marketable. Yep. This is going to work. So I wouldn't be surprised if it could work. But again, I can't make any promises.
Yeah, Kanye needs to do something with Cosmo and the Cougarettes, and it would go absolutely viral.
Ayo and Teo performed here as well. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to perform per se. He just shows up. It can be the Gonzaga game, bro. There'll be 20,000 fans in there, packed, ESPN. This is the perfect game. You hit your boy up, and let's get him to Provo, bro.
I'll do my best.
Do you have his email address? Because I'm wondering if you have his phone number, They're like, no, you go through his handle.
I don't think that they would give his phone number out to a bunch of 18 and 17
True.
They're
like, yeah, Kanye's number ready. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
that would be
stuff.
Amazing.
Now, Braeden, we're looking forward to BYU getting into the Big 12. We were just talking about that last segment as it relates to football, but BYU basketball is on the cusp of playing in the toughest conference in all of college basketball. So how much was BYU joining the Big 12 a factor in your decision to come to Provo?
Yeah, so I've been asked this a bit, and to be completely honest, the league they're in now is a great league. People don't realize that. WCC is a phenomenal league right now. Now, I do think Big 12 is going to be a big step up, and, I'm ready to play in that. I think that is something that was very attractive and definitely a plus, but that wasn't the main reason I came to BYU. I came to BYU for the people, the environment, the academics, most important, above all, actually, and just, the coaching staff and my teammates. I mean, I was around some players and, they're just the best dudes that I've been around for being on recruiting visits and stuff. So, there are a lot of factors, but I definitely think, that's definitely a plus. And, I'm so excited. That is so awesome. Being able to play at Allen Fieldhouse and Kansas and all those places. I mean, that's legit. That's big time. So.
And listen, they can take you to a couple hot chicken spots. I know it's not the same as Nashville, and we don't have Broadway Street.
Oh my goodness.
Way fewer drunk people on a Saturday night, I'll tell you that in Provo. But yeah, the music, good scene, not quite the same there, but it is going to be fun. So when do you get to Provo?
So yeah, we're still figuring that out. Just going through the application process and still haven't graduated yet. So I'm really just knocking out some schoolwork in the meantime and just hopefully I think the first few weeks of June I'll be here. So
nice.
So yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm excited. So,
well, we hate to deter you from your homework, but with that in mind, what are you hoping to study at BYU while you're here?
I would like to be a business major. I know the Marriott School of Business is I think it's top 10 or something like that. So it's a phenomenal business school, and that's something that I've been looking at. So it could change, how college students are, they never really know. But most likely business. So.
All right, Braeden, we need to indoctrinate you into what happens here on BYU Sports Nation. When you join the show, you then earn the right to receive BYU Sports Nation karma, and you can use that for whatever you want. Your life's already really good.
It's good luck.
It'll get better. So if you have a big test coming up, you're going to ace it. That's just kind of how this thing works.
If you're trying to track down Kanye's number, maybe you'll get it.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all are awesome.
But when we have you on campus, we need to have you in Studio B so you can sign the flag, and then you can get the full implementation. But congratulations on all your success. We look forward to seeing you in Provo, man. Can't wait to watch you play basketball for BYU.
Of course. Can't wait to meet you guys in person.
You got it. Braeden Moore with us over Zoom on BYU Sports Nation.